quite a lot of violence in some of these moves at the moment. Have you got any thoughts on this, any rationale of why we should be seeing such aggressive moves?
It's hard to explain really. Where we're positioned in the UK is we're short the FTSE 250 on equities. So we don't have much longs. We own HSBC, which is listed in the UK, but not necessarily a pure UK company by any means. The FTSE 250 we think will be hit by probably a more dire situation. Maybe dire is too strong a word, but the economy has been so resilient, and I think people are still living in a bit of a euphoria that we've got a bit of a sugar rush from the Bank of England cut, talk of some fiscal stimulus, but Brexit is going to have impact, and I think the cyclical companies in the UK may be at risk. Again,
talk about violence. I mean, the 250 got stunningly pummeled, if I remember correctly, below 15,000 June 27th, I think it pretty much was. And now we're trading 18,000 and a bit of change, 18,342. Yep. So that short is a tough short at the moment for you as well.
It's a recent short, so we haven't suffered that whole thing up. We've just put that on this month. But the view is you can make the case for the multinationals in the FTSE 100. You can see really why they're going to win a little bit from this scenario of the weak sterling, the foreign revenues and earnings coming in. The FTSE 250 much more domestically and a lot less foreign revenues coming into there. So that's why we're short the FTSE 250 rather than the 100.
What about pure valuation terms as well? I mean, its PE isn't as exaggerated as the FTSE 100 or the S&P for that matter, but it's still trading, I think, circa 16 times. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
On our numbers, we're looking at 22 times on the FTSE 250.
22 times, so maybe I'm looking at a different figure actually. I've got a figure in front of me on Reuters that says 15.72, but so you've had 22 times.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary.
Well, it's expensive, yeah. It's cheaper than the Russell 2000 if you want to do a mid-cap versus a US kind of smaller mid-cap, but it's expensive and it's got some headwinds with it.
Okay, so do you know what? This is a great debate because we've had so many people who've said, yes, it's expensive, but then they've had the caveat. And the caveat starts with but, obviously, and it has the word relative in there as well. And I really struggle with that. Just because everything else is really, really expensive, buying something that's pretty expensive doesn't sound like a great trade to me.
Definitely not, and our net equity exposure we've been reducing down from 30% net long where we were 2 months ago to where we're just over 10% net long today. And the greatest short right now is the companies. I thought when I was writing a note to you yesterday it was going to be, this is our view for the next 6 months, but it really started to work in the afternoon that people who aren't equity investors are forced to buy equities right now. And they're buying utilities, they're buying food and staple companies, they're buying telecoms, because the pitch there, and it's creating a bubble, is these companies give you a dividend yield, there's no cyclical exposure, you don't want to be in equities because of the geopolitical risk, the economic backdrop, but these companies are safe, they're great, but they're crazy expensive.
We are in a bubble.
Those stocks are in a bubble, and the minimum vol, ETFs, things like that, they're trading at 24.9 times earnings today, 3.4 times book value. So these stocks are safe from all the perspective that doesn't include valuation, but once you put valuation in there, they're crazy expensive. And the thing that was shocking me yesterday when I was doing an analysis that we're short a minimum vol ETF, a call option on it. Historically, it's got a beta of 0.7. Historically, it's got lower volatility than the S&P. Implied vol's 10% higher than the S&P right now on these minimum vol stocks, just because of these, I think, crazy multiples people are paying for them. And there's weak hands in these stocks that aren't natural equity buyers. As soon as you start to see some sell-offs, I think you're going to see a real panic because people don't like to see drawdowns who are in these kinds of
Hang on, so you've mentioned a bubble, crazy expensive, and real panic.
Yeah, and it's just because it's got all the ingredients of a bubble. If it's such an easy sell. If you're a private banker, a stockbroker, it's an easy sell to say P&G, Nestle, a utility, these kind of things with bond yields where they are, they give you a dividend.
Yeah.
But utilities used to trade at 10 to 11 times earnings. Now they're trading at 18 times earnings in America. So it's gone up. It's the valuation risk. It's not a company risk, but you're just paying too much for these kind of companies. Patrick,